Hello, good evening, guys. Welcome again to English with Mr. Muthoin Zoom meeting, weekly basis, 8 p.m. Jakarta time. While we are waiting for others to join, as usual, let's read the news. Let's read the news. Where's the news for today? Oh, death with her friend, death with her boyfriend. Oh, Putri Natipulu still a student, college student. She was buried without rape ceremonial. Now where's the others? Let's see who's online. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, what else? The news we have? Still me alone. Oh, Ukraine have a potential force by the West to make peace with Russia if this thing happens. Dina, say hi to everyone. Ya, si Dina want to say hi. Sini, sini. Ah, Dina is online with me. Hi, hi. Say hi. Hmm? Hi, guys. Now Dina already 5 years. And in a short time, she will be a kindergarten student. Hey, TK. Okay, what else? The news? Hmm, what is the news? Oh, the meaning of the dream. The meaning of dream, the dream that you have achieved a theft come into your house, meaning that you have to be waspada tuh apa ya? To aware, always aware. Okay, what else? Actually, I don't know. I don't actually don't believe about dream, but who knows? Dream just like menghias tidur apa. Oh, my wife gets cough. Oh, aktor. Okay, let's read the news from Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera, where's Al Jazeera? And the Euronews.com. Both two channels have a good news. Alina, come here. You want to say hi? Alina, want to say hi? Let's read the Al Jazeera.com. Overnight, Russia bombing kills one in eastern Ukraine. Good. Thousands of Israelis protest against Netanyahu's new government. Israel revokes travel permits of senior Palestinian officials. NATO turns down Serbia's request to deploy troops in Kosovo. NATO turns down Serbia's request to deploy troops in Kosovo. At least 40 killed, 87 injured in Senegal traffic accident. All is new again. Qatar teens give worn clothes a second life. Pakistan's finance minister to meet IMF delegation in Geneva. Excitement as China opens border to quarantine-free travel. Russia-Ukraine war. List of key events. Day 319. Oh, the war already gone for 300 years, 300 days, 316 days. Okay, let's read Euronews.com. What we have in Euronews.com. Fighting rage on in eastern Ukraine despite Putin's 36-hour ceasefire. China welcomed overseas visitor for the first time in 3 years. Ukraine war. What you need to know this weekend. Portugal. Why is Portugal's government in crisis? People. Meet the YouTuber who makes a living learning languages. Mm, very interesting. War. War. What war? Warm temperature in Austria casts doubt over major ice skating event. Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI tomb open to the public. Where's the other? Still no one joining me. It's okay. We read the news again. Okay, let's start again. Let's read the news. Oh, news. Okay, let's read about economy. Opinion. In the Al Jazeera, what's the opinion? Farha and the story of the Palestinian collaborator. Okay, opinion Palestine, unite or die. Opinion, big money is choking India's free press and its democracy. NATO should renew its commitment to Kosovo. US Empire's legacy, Fallujah and football play in the graveyard. Fallujah, Fallujah. Okay, let's read this opinion about NATO should renew its commitment to Kosovo. Wrote by Hamza Karsik, associate professor at the Faculty of Political Science at the University of Sarajevo. Serbia's refusal, Serbia's refusal to accept Kosovo sovereignty is increasing the possibility of renewed conflict in the region. On December 10, ethnic Serbs start setting up red blocks in northern Kosovo, near the Serbian border, to protest against the arrest of ethnic Serb former police officer. The situation soon escalated into a dangerous standoff between Kosovo and Serbia, with Pristina calling on NATO-led international peacekeeping force in Kosovo, KFOR, to intervene, and Belgrade announcing its army was on the highest level of combat readiness due to the tension at the border. After holding talk with Serbia's President Alexander Vucic, and receiving guarantees from Kosovo's Western partner that they would not face arrest over the incident. The protesters eventually started dismantling the red blocks on December 29. With the end of red bloc and reopening of the border crossing, the crisis appeared to come to an end. But the escalating in December was not the first incident that almost pushed Serbia and Kosovo into open conflict, and it is highly unlikely to be the last. The fragile relationship between the two neighboring countries have been on the verge of collapse since last summer, when Kosovo's government started taking steps to exercise sovereignty over the country's entire territory. At the end of July, the government of Albin Kurti demanded all citizens of Kosovo, including ethnic Serb who refused to recognize Pristina authority and still consider themselves as part of Serbia, start carrying IDs and using license plate issued by Kosovo. In response, ethnic Serbs in the north barricaded roads and threatened violence, leading key forces to start patrolling the streets in the region. A few days later, following mediation by the European Union and the United States, Pristina and Belgrade reached a deal on ID documents but left the issue of license plates to be resolved at a later date. In November, after months of protests, occasionally clashes, and even mass resignation by ethnic Serb state employees, the license plate issue was finally resolved with the signing of a deal that requires Serbia to stop issuing license plate with marking indicating Kosovo cities and Kosovo to cease its demand for resignation of vehicle carrying Serbia's plates. The latest standpoint of the border came just a few weeks after this landmark deal, demonstrating that the tension between Kosovo and Serbia are chronic and will not be truly resolved until mutual recognition is achieved. Indeed, recent escalation between Serbia and Kosovo have followed a clear pattern. Kosovo attempts to exercise sovereignty over its war territory. Belgrade responded by stoking unrest using ethnic Serb in north as its proxies. The EU stepped in, broker deals, and stopped the unrest from escalating into cross-border conflict. Then the cycle is repeated. All this so that the recurring tension between Serbia and Kosovo and between Kosovo and its ethnic Serb citizens in the north of the country actually have little to do with practicalities of governance such as a license plate and everything to do with one more issue, Kosovo's independence. Almost a quarter of a century ago, NATO responded to the brutal violence perpetrated by Serbia in Kosovo by undertaking a humanitarian intervention, defeating Serbian strongman Slobodan Milosevic's troops and forcing them to withdraw from Kosovo. Since then, Kosovo has been working hard to build itself up as a state in 28 officially declared its independence from Serbia. In the in the years since, more than 100 countries recognized it as an independent nation, and it joined several international institutions such as World Bank and IMF. In 2010, the International Court of Justice ruled Kosovo's declaration of independence legal. Serbia never accepted this new state of affairs and tried to undermine Kosovo's sovereignty at every opportunity since 2008. In 2030, in 2013, Kosovo's then Prime Minister Hashim Thaci and Serbia's then President Ivica Desic signed an agreement hammered in Brussels to try and normalize relationship between the two nations in the hope of preventing ethnic grievances from hindering peace in the region. The agreement detailed conditions of large-scale devolution of northern Kosovo and its majority ethnic Serb population. Nearly a decade has passed since signing of this historic deal, but as the events since last summer demonstrate, normalization is still provide elusive. Furthermore, there are fears that this agreement itself may pave the way for the next standoff between Serbia and Kosovo. Okay, before we continue this article, let's see who's joining our. Oh, still no one joining our Zoom thing. Okay, read it again. The article. Now that IDs, license plate, and barricades are out of the way, Belgrade is focusing on ensuring the swift formation of this occasion. Pristina, however, is skeptical of the purpose and supposed utility of such a move. In November 2015, the government of Kosovo froze its plan to establish the association, drawing accusation from DESIC that it is threatening regulatory stability. A few months later, the Constitutional Court of Kosovo declared part of 2018 deal, including the point on money municipality associating unconstitutional. While Belgrade, with support from EU and US, has long been agitating for the reinstatement of the project, the current Kurdi government seems determined not to allow the establishment of an association of Serb municipalities. In an interview with Al Jazeera Balkan in late August 2022, Kurti drew attention to similar ethical-based municipality communities that embarked on a separatist project in Bosnia and Herzegovina in 1992, expressing concern that an association of Serb municipalities could function as Kosovo's own Republic Srpska, an autonomous political entity loyal to Belgrade that is powerful enough to hinder the functioning of the state. The event of the past few months, coupled with the ongoing back and forth over the possibility formation of Serbia municipality communicating indicating we will likely witness many more cycles of escalation between Kosovo and Serbia in the new year. But is there a feasible path to normalization? There is a Franco-German plan underway that proposes to facilitate Serbia's quick accession to the EU in exchange for recognizing of Kosovo's independence. Kurti is, Kurti is reported in favor of the plan. Serbia's Vucic, however, already declared that such an exchange is unacceptable for his country. With the EU's primacy plans to resolve Kosovo-Serbia tension unlikely to deliver swift result, Pristina appears to be looking at Washington for any possible remedies to its Serbia problem. But the US focused on Russia's war in Ukraine and its repercussions also appear unable to draw an easy path for normalization. Furthermore, as Turkey recently warned NATO countries, there is a risk that Russia may flame tension between its regional ally Serbia and Western-oriented Kosovo, either to move attention away from his failure in Ukraine or to distract NATO countries with yet another European conflict. Of course, all diplomatic efforts to achieve normalization between Serbia and Kosovo should continue, but there's little hope that Serbia will accept Kosovo's independence and start respecting is sovereign anytime soon. Given the expecting of continuing strife between the two neighboring states, three policy steps should be taken to enhance Kosovo's security. First, NATO's presence in Kosovo should be beefed up with 3,800 soldiers. K4, K4 is already a formidable force and a pillar of Kosovo stability. But by increasing troop number, NATO can send a strong message to Serbia, Russia, and the world regarding its commitment to the region and to Kosovo's viability as an independent state. Second, the US should boost its support in terms of both equipment and training for Kosovo's police force. While K4 is useful now, in the long term, only a strong national police force can ensure the stability of the country and the security of all its citizens. Third, Kosovo should be part of the fair. Kosovo should be put on fast track to NATO's admission. Kosovo is a reliable pro-Western partner in Southern Europe, and NATO already invested significantly in the country's security. Only NATO membership can ensure that does, does not end up in a power vacuum and enter into active conflict in Serbia. More than 2 decades after the NATO's intervention and almost 15 years after Kosovo's declaration of independence, Belgrade is still refusing to recognize the fact on the ground and accept Kosovo's sovereignty. If Pristina's Western allies are serious about keeping peace in the region, they should renew their commitment to Kosovo before it is too late. The views expressed in this article are the author's own and do not necessarily reflect Al Jazeera's editorial stance. Yeah, I know that. And the author, his name is Hamza Karsik, Associate Professor at the Faculty of Political Science at the University of Sarajevo. Hamza Karsik is an Associate Professor in the Faculty of Political Science at the University of Sarajevo. Okay, that's his opinion. But my opinion, I don't know. Let's see what else. What, what is another opinion? Hmm. Farha and the story of the Palestine collaborator. Okay, let's check this and read this. Farha and the story of the Palestinian collaborator by Nada Elia, Palestine scholar activist, writer, and a grassroots organizer. Okay, we already 30 minutes, guys, but still no participant here. Let's read again the opinion from aljazeera.com, and this is the opinion from Mrs. Nada Elia from Palestine. Farha and the story of the Palestinian collaborator. As Darin Salman's films show, collaborators are a traumatizing aspect of the Palestinian reality. but they cannot be blamed for Israel's crime. The article contains some spoiler. This article contains some spoiler. On December 1, 2022, Netflix released the film Farha, Darin Salman's first full-length feature and Jordan's entry into the Oscar. Like many diaspora Palestinian and our allies, I rushed to watch it and I love it. The film is based on the true story of a Palestinian girl who survived the Nakba of 1848 when hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were expelled from their homeland by Zionist militias. The film's main character, Farha, is locked from her own safety in a pantry when Zionist forces attack her village, and through the cracks of a door, she witnesses some of the brutal violence of ethnic cleansing that created in Israel state. I myself I am the daughter of Palestinian who fled Jerusalem in 1948. My own mother was 18 at that time, my father a little older. I believe the reason that the film resonates so deeply with me, as with every Palestinian I have talked to about it, is because we were finally seeing on the screen one of the strong stories so many of us had grow up with, passed on through the generation, but otherwise concerned by the Western media. Without a doubt, the most disturbing aspect of the film for me was the scene with the collaborator. I feel completely I feel compelled to elaborate on his role, as it probably one of the more complex and least understood aspect of our disposition. Okay, stop first. Let's see again who's online with me. More no one online? Okay, let's read the news again. The collaborator in the film is a Palestinian man who appears in a burlap sack with two holes for his eyes to hide his identity, and who appears to be helping a Zionist militia find Palestinian resistance fighter and weapons. His tip-off, however, leads to the massacre of Palestinian family hiding in Farhah's home. The inclusion of the collaborator is obviously a very delicate matter because of, of the many possible interpretation and misinterpretation of that character. For example, in response to a Facebook post by Professor Ahlam Muhtasib, research director of a documentary about the Nakba, one person said that one of the reasons Palestinian was taken was because of the spies traitor in our country. And further down, the same person added that he and many of the traitors are the cause of the occupation siege of Palestine. The collaborator in the film eventually turned out to be Farhah's own uncle, who, whom she had lovingly looked up to. He is a modern urban Palestinian who wear Western clothes, speak English, and had encouraged Farhah's father to allow her to get an education in the city. For some Palestinians looking to cast blame, the urban elites are often implied to have sold out the country. This would, of course, deflect from the sense of shame that Palestinians still harbor at their defeat, blaming it on the collaborator, native informant, and the loss of tradition and patriarchal gender norm. rather than the unmitigated racism and violence of Israeli colonialism. Dinar Omar, a PhD candidate at Yale University who has studied Israeli military tactics, taught me that the practice of putting burlap sack over the head of Palestinian collaborator and stringing them along on particularly morbid operation was actually common practice for the Israeli militant from the 1910s through the 1970s. Zionist militants and later the Israeli military parade the collaborator in a visible way intentionally. The men with burlap sack on their head could have been more useful if they were hidden, if they stay in the jeep close by or dress as Zionists. Instead, they were dragged along coerced into being part of a military orchestrated spectacle precisely for people to deflect citizens away from the murderer and onto the collaborator, who were almost always forced into this role in order to protect their loved ones. Palestinians was lost because of the collaborator. Palestinians were faced with impossible odds because England has ensured successful Zionism colonization by exiling or imprisoning the Palestinian leadership and executing any Palestinian coach with a weapon. At the same time, it facilitated the arming of Zionism paramilitary units who perpetrated many massacres in their pillaging of more than 530 Palestinian villages. Today, we can see the ongoing complexity of imperial power as they fail to hold Israel accountable for the relentless violence of Zionism with its continuing home demolition, land chief, land theft, assassination, execution of the airport bombing of Gaza. And we must understand that this imperial power, not to the Palestinian collaborator, are the reason Palestine is still not yet free. We must also understand that collaborators today, just as in 1947 and 1848, are most often cursed into this file, rolling for reason which would not exist if Israeli forces were not so keen to exploit the most vulnerable, such as those who do not adhere to traditional norm and the gender role, or those who push the limits of the social expectation. Some Palestinians have also been forced to collaborate with Israel under circumstances of crushing poverty and genocidal siege, or while seeking to secure life-saving medical care for their loved one. The inclusion of the collaborator in Farha, then, is best read as note to this complex phenomenon and to Israel's long-standing use of this traumatic tactic, traumatis, traumatizing tactic. Could we consider instead that Farha uncle knew her father had locked her up and was trying to find his way to her to free her from the pantry? So, while I absolutely love the movie, I think, as Chimanda Elisha urged, there is danger in a single story. If this is the if this is the one story of our Nakba that we get from the Palestinian perspective, and it show a collaborator, then it is easy to generalize and think there was a traitor collaborator in every village. Indeed, As one Facebook post reads, Farha is not a character. The movie is not fiction. She is she is all of us survivor of the ethnic cleansing of the Nakba in 1948. But if so, then we all have a collaborator in the family. To avoid such generalization, we need more of our experience out there to highlight our resistance against the imperial oaths. Edward Said denounced the fact that we do not have permission to narrate it. We must not wait to be given that permission. We have to seize it and use it. Farha is a harrowing but credible story, one corroborated by more than half of nation unprooted wined on similar stories that stay us and continue to haunt us. We need more such story. We need all of our story out there. Okay, let's see. We also need to make sure Farha's story is not silenced. There has been a major campaign against the film, seeking the smear and the platform it. So if you haven't yet, do make a point of watching the film and giving it a positive review. The view expressed in this article are the author's own and do not necessarily reflect Al Jazeera's editorial stance. Nada Elia, Palestine scholar, activist, writer, and grassroots organizer. Nada Elia is a Palestine scholar, activist, writer, and a grassroots organizer. She is the author of Greater Than the Sum of Our Parts: Feminism, Internationalism, and Palestine through Press. Hmm. Okay, guys, there are already two articles that already been read it. Since still no one here and the time is already almost up, 2 minutes more. Okay, see you next week. Hope many participants will join our weekly Zoom meeting. Thank you guys. See you next week.